Yes, sir. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first ever Get Funk, not just your average wrestling podcast, baby, with me, Allan Funk, better known as Kwee in WCW, the funkster in All Japan Pro Wrestling. But better than that, I got, for my first guest ever, one of my good buddies I've known since I started the business, Chuck Palumbo, baby. Let's give it up for Chuck Palumbo.
Al, thank you so much. I really appreciate it having me on. That's pretty cool, man.
Dude, I'm glad to have you on here, Chuck. Like I said, you asked me how many people turned you down. I said only one, but I won't tell everybody who that is because hopefully I can get them on here pretty soon. Right. But I'm glad you are the first guest. So I don't really have any questions outlined for you, Chuck. What I want to do is just kind of let this flow. I want to just go, maybe we can start out how you and I met. You could talk about what you're up to. I know you got a lot of stuff going on. You got your YouTube, Chuck of All Trades and all that. Yep. So I'll let you start out just introducing yourself if, people haven't seen you in a while or if they watch your YouTube show. So you got the floor right now, Chuck.
Absolutely. So my name is Chuck Palumbo. Al and I, this guy right here, great guy, we wrestled together. We met in WCW, I want to say at the power plant, right?
Oh, yeah, the power plant.
And I want to say that was like late 97, early 98.
It was, I came down October 98. So probably a little before that I met you.
Okay. Yeah. And gosh, this is actually good, man, that we're talking about this because this is the stuff that a lot of the fans really don't know about, how we got started, how we struggled.
The brutalness of the power plant.
Yeah. People don't realize what the old school power plant was really about. But anyway, you and I, we started, say 98, we met late 97, early 98. And, we went through the rigors, 5 days a week, like a 9-to-5 job, but without getting paid. And,
like a dog getting beat every day.
And just took, and, now actually I sometimes I actually get upset with myself for actually taking all those bumps. We took a lot of unnecessary bumps in training long before we ever got to really learn the psychology of the business, which is going back. I mean, I'm sure you feel the same way.
Oh yeah. You regret it, but looking back on it, you're young and you want to, you're ready to go, man. You want to get started. You want to be on TV,
Absolutely. But just me personally. So I guess right before I met you, so I don't know how you saw it, but I think you might have. Did you see the ad on TV for the power plant on TBS? Did you see that ad?
I did see the ad on TV. Yeah, my ex-wife TJ, her and I was watching and saw the ad.
Yeah. So I see the ad on TV.
We're having a little bit of trouble there, Chucky.
No problem. I can see myself. I'm still moving, but you're frozen.
Having a little bit of technical difficulty, folks.
All right.
Let's see what we got here. Hey, Chuck, you there, man?
Yeah, I am.
Sorry, bro. We had a little bit of trouble there. Broke up there for a minute.
That's okay.
So, yeah, you were talking about the ad. Is that how you found out?
So, yeah, I saw an ad on TV for the power plant. It said, do you want to be a wrestler? And it had a phone number. It said, join the WCW power plant where the big boys train.
Yeah. I saw that same one.
Right?
Yeah.
I had like a 404 area code phone number. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know anything about pro wrestling. I know who Hulk Hogan is.
Yeah.
That was it. I didn't know anything about pro wrestling. I didn't know how much of it was a work, how much wasn't, but it sparked my interest. So I watched a little bit of the programming, which I believe was Monday Nitro probably.
Yeah.
I still remember who I saw wrestling, but I was like, God, these guys are damn good athletes. And at the time I was playing basketball in college at Central Missouri State. I was a couple years into my scholarship, and I actually – it was on the whim, right? We make these decisions on the whim. I thought to myself, well, I'm not going to play in the NBA. I know that. I'm an athlete. If I can get into this, it looks interesting. If I can get into this and actually make a living being an athlete, let me try it. Because I don't know if you remember, but the ad for the power plant said, train with us for 6 months, and there's a possibility you could get a 6-figure contract.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I was like, you're naive, right? 27 years old. I'm like, 6-figure contract. I never saw 6 figures in my life. I don't know anybody who had. Right. Up in a blue collar family back in Rhode Island. My dad probably made, $35 grand a year.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal. And I think I was very naive. I saw that and I said, I'm an athlete. I said, I think I can do this. I had no idea. I didn't know if it was half of work. I didn't know what it was. And so I went to the same as you. We went to the 3-day tryout, the weeding out process.
Now, let me ask you this, though. Before you had no clue what you were stepping into for that 3 days, did you?
Absolutely nothing.
And people will never understand that 3-day, no matter how much you explain that to them, they'll never understand that 3 days we went through.
They won't. The abuse we took, and I'm not talking about all these guys who said they went to the power plant, the Goldbergs and the guys like that who went in, already signed. These guys didn't do it or go through what we went through. They didn't endure what we endured. The guys that actually were strangers to the business, didn't have an in, and actually just called the number and went to that 72 hour, went to that 3-day tryout, paid their way there, went to the tryout. Those are the guys who will understand this. And they just brutalized you and beat you silly until you quit.
That's what they wanted. What's up, Nick?
It was you had to come with a money order for $250, right?
Yeah, $250. Yeah.
You had to have that. You had to pay that first, right? You paid that first, and then
have all your paperwork, everything.
And then you sign that waiver. You pay your $250, and you took a licking.
Oh, dude, yeah. And people don't even understand when we say take a licking. You're doing at least what 1,500 squats a day, Chuck? You'd say. I mean, you're between squatting and push-ups, you're getting pushed around, shoved by 10, 12, 14 different guys in there.
Yeah.
You're getting thrown in the ring. You're getting kicked. I mean, people just don't understand it.
Yeah. And I know we're not looking for, we're not looking for a pat on the back for this. We want people to know what it was about. I mean, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you were there, Al. Batista went through, and I think he made it a couple hours.
Yeah, I think I do remember him down there. I didn't know that was him at the time, but now you bring it up.
Yeah, I want to say he threw up, or I don't know. They kicked him out the door, if I remember correctly, literally.
Oh yeah. Now the horror story. You remember the guy that actually shit his pants, and they were pulling him back in the door?
Yes.
The guy was crawling to the door and shit his pants, and they were literally pulling him back in because they didn't want him to leave. That's how bad it was.
Is that the same guy who maybe, I don't know if it was Batista, maybe it wasn't, somebody else puked. They grabbed the guy's shirt, ripped it off him, made him wipe up his own puke and put his shirt back on?
Yeah. I'm not sure who that was. I do remember something like that, yeah.
But I mean, I remember being like into the thousands on the squat, maybe like around 1,000. I remember holding on to the ring post.
Yeah.
You couldn't, your body wasn't capable of that.
Yeah, right? And then they'd come over and kick your hands, or Sarge or whoever, But
I remember, okay, so after the first day, I made it to the end of the first day, like yourself, right? I got a room at the Holiday Inn, I believe, or whatever the local hotel was.
Yeah, Green Derby, right up off 20 right there.
Yep.
That's where I stayed, yeah.
I remember my legs, I couldn't move my legs. And I'm going, how am I going to get through tomorrow? I already spent my $250. I already bought my plane ticket. I can't go home now. I gotta get this done.
We all went through the same thing, I'm sure.
So I remember walking across the street to the supermarket.
Yeah, Kroger,
whatever it was. I bought a bottle of Advil. I don't remember how many I took. I got in the tub. Oh yeah, I bought a little pint or quart of Epsom salt.
Yeah, same thing.
I passed out. I don't remember. I woke up in the morning, in the early hours of the morning, 3:30, 4 o'clock, in the tub, cold, and said, geez, how am I going to get through this today? And I just started warming up and stretching.
Yeah.
I think we had to be there at 7:30 or whatever it was. Yeah,
7:38. I can't remember. But now this is how I coped through the first night, Chuck. I did the same thing you did. I went to Kroger before I got to the hotel, right? I don't think we've ever really talked about this.
No, we haven't. I didn't know you on this.
I cramped up so bad. I was in my rental car. I pulled into Kroger. I step out of the car and fall flat on my face right in the blacktop. And it's summer. It's July when I'm down here in my trial. It's 100 degrees outside, and the humidity in Georgia. Yeah. I fall flat on my face. I'm trying to crawl back up. I can't move my legs. They're frozen.
Yeah.
So I finally make it in the store. I get a cart, use it as a damn crutch, get Epsom salt, Aleve, and bananas because I was cramping so bad.
There you go.
I go back to the hotel. I couldn't even sit down on the toilet to take a crap the next day. I tied a towel to the doorknob and lowered myself down, and then I had to pull myself back up. Was it like that for you?
I remember exactly. I didn't have the sense enough to tie the towel around the doorknob, but I remember I struggled to get on the toilet, struggled to get off. I remember sitting in the tub when I woke up in the early hours of the morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, how am I going to get up? How am I going to get loosened up enough? Because I kept thinking about what we went through the day before. And I was like, shit, how am I going to do this today? I got to figure this out.
Dude, I was on the phone with, TJ MWA. I literally said, I can't fucking walk. I don't even know how I'm going to get in the car to get down there.
Honest to God, I couldn't walk either. I remember being in the hotel room. Cause I didn't think I had a rental car. I think I had a taxi. Yeah, I didn't have a rental car. I had a taxi. I remember before I called the taxi, I kept trying to stretch my quads, my hams. It was the quads that were shot. They were gone.
It was my whole body.
But yeah, I was beat up. Those, if you think about it, I don't know about you, but that's the first time I ever hit the ropes. I didn't know what those ropes were. I didn't know they were steel cables.
Oh yeah. I mean, your lats were probably bruised just like mine were.
Yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, I get back the second day. And I just told myself, I'm not going to quit. I said, they can kill me. Whatever they're going to do to me, they're going to do it. At the end of the day, 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, I'm out of there. Right? So got through the second day. And by the end of the second day, there was only a few of us left. And then I make it through the second day, go through the same BS again, the same thing, back to the hotel.
Now, before you go on, Chuck, how many people originally started the class that you were in?
I want to say around 30 to 32 people.
Yeah, and then at the end, there was how many left?
Just me. By the third day, just me.
Yeah.
30, and I think they were trying on average 30 people a month, right? Roughly.
Yeah, there was. I try to tell people 30. They don't really believe me. I say 15, 30. What's the difference? Yeah. I was the only one who made it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I
was the only one who made it. We had a guy, this kid Joey, on day 3. I remember he might have quit right before lunch. And then I remember, after lunch on the third day, Sarge was like, this guy's not going to quit. So we're done. All right. And then third day, I make it to the end. I'm the only one in there. I get called into Joe Hamilton's office.
Yeah.
I remember he's eating this. He had a big bowl of food.
Well, people don't know who Joe Hamilton is. He's one of the original assassins. Nick Patrick, the referee, that's his father.
Dad. Good guy.
Yeah, good guy.
But I walk in, and, I'm intimidated, right? I don't know anything about the business. And I walk in, and he looks at me and says, so you made it, kid, huh? I said, yeah. And meanwhile, he's leaning over this bowl of food, and he's sweating profusely as he's eating and talking to me.
With his sweatpants on.
And he was just shoveling food in his mouth, and he's sweating, and he's looking at me, and he says, take your shirt off. And I'm like, this is kind of weird, you know what I mean? Wow,
let me see what you got, kid.
Right. So I take my shirt off. He's like, oh, you look good. He goes, you're an athlete. He goes, all right, well, what do you think? I said, well, what's next? He goes, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like thinking, I just went through 3 days of torture, and there's no plan here.
No, yeah, it wasn't that organized.
So he goes, well, I'll tell you what, if you come back with $3,000 and we'll train you.
Yeah.
I'm like, now I'm not really hearing about the contracts as much. And,
the 6 figures.
now it's $3,000 I got to pay. So I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, what did I just go through? What am I getting into?
More technical difficulties.
Right. But when you're naive, right? Because, today we would have never did it. But when you're naive, right, you do things like that. So I go back home.
Right? Yeah, we had a little bit of technical difficulties there, Chuck. I'm sorry, buddy.
Okay. Where was I at? So when you're naive, you're thinking
the 6 figures,
right? Still in the back of your mind a little bit. And when you're naive, you don't realize the adversity you're about to face for the next few years in this business, right? If you're lucky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I go back home. I was still in San Diego because I had, that's where I was staying when I wasn't in school. I had a motorcycle. I sold that. I sold wherever I had. I borrowed some money from some people because I didn't have $3,000. I borrowed some money, and I had remember my Blazer? I had like that 83 K5 Blazer, that black one, the old Chevy.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was my vehicle. I rented a U-Haul trailer, hooked up the trailer. I had a 1-year-old baby, Charlie.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like a lot of these people don't know. You and your wife at the time, when we wanted to go wrestle indies, Charlie's mom would be working, and your wife at the time, TJ, would take care of Charlie for us. Remember?
Yeah. Charlie was awesome back then. Remember, she used to talk like The Rock. Charlie said.
Yeah, she did the eyebrow. Yeah, she was unbelievable. She's all grown up now. You should see her, man. She's 24.
Shoot, I bet, man. That's what I was just telling Sanders the other day.
Beautiful kid, great, easy kid, sweet kid.
By the way, somebody wanted to know what it was like working with Sanders. I'll let you answer that one.
So I like Mike a lot. He's a good guy. You have to know him. You have to know him because he'll bust your balls because he's a good talker. He's witty, and he's a smart guy, and he's a character.
Oh yeah.
Always, I like Mike. I always one thing I always said about Mike was like that guy had serious promo skills to the point where I remember one night where he was bantering back and forth with Flair.
Uh-huh.
I remember he was getting the best of Flair.
And he was getting pissed.
And they kind of put the brakes on him.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of the Natural Born Thrillers were a super talented group of guys, and we were all still learning while we were on TV. We were all very green. We were all learning on TV because it was an opportunity, and we took it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Very fortunate to get the opportunity to get paid good money to be on TV and working. But yeah, a lot of missed opportunity by WWF with Natural Born Thrillers. That could have been.
I mean, think of the talent. Here's how I explain this to everybody, Chuck. They're like, people just think it's easy as, well, why don't you just call WWF and go back up there and work? Yeah. Okay, I wish it was that easy, right? So I try to explain to these people, say if you took the NFL, the 36 teams, 32 teams, or whatever they got, you cut it down to 16 teams. What are you going to do with all the talent that's on them other 16 teams?
Absolutely.
Somebody's got to lose out. So, I mean, they missed the boat on a lot of guys. I mean, like you said, Natural Born Thrillers, everybody that was on TV at that time from the power plant was great talent.
Yeah, every single one. And, you hear a lot of the veterans or some of the veteran fans say like, oh, the end of WCW was a dead breed and this and that. And they had these young guys working. And, yeah, we were young and we were learning, we were green, but we were working hard and trying hard. And we would scrounge to get that spot. And, honestly, looking back, can you imagine if a lot of that seasoned WCW talent actually would have worked with us?
Yeah, I mean, like Kevin Nash did with you guys.
Like had an attitude like Kevin Nash, where Kev had no ego. Kevin, that's one guy I always say it. Kevin was all about working with us and trying to enhance us.
Yeah. If everybody in the back was like that, that's another question I wanted to ask you. Really was, so the difference between the backstage at WCW and WWE at the time when you were up there, is it different? Yes or no? And explain why.
Yeah, so here's what happened. So I was one of the few guys that came over to WWF, right, with the buyout. We did our last Nitro in Florida. They came in. I remember Shane. I like Shane. Shane's a good guy. Shane came in and pretty much told us what was going on to a point, but really didn't tell us what was going on.
Yeah, I was there that night. You remember it was a weird feeling. Everybody's like, holy shit. They didn't know what was going on.
Briscoe is in the gorilla position. He's not saying anything. He's got that look on his face like, he's pissed. You're going, why does it have to be this way? Vince is about to spend all this money on us.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? But you know how the wrestling business is, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, next thing you know, I'm up in WWF, and I remember going into – I don't remember where we were. I'm one of those guys. I can't remember matches, and I can't remember where I wrestled.
See, I do.
I see a lot of guys do. I just never really cared about that part of it. I remember the camaraderie, like hanging out with you guys. That's the stuff I remember. But I remember getting to the building. First thing we do is go into catering.
Yeah.
remember a lot of the WWF guys were in there, maybe like Glenn, Jacobs, Kane, Taker, guys like that. And I remember how standoffish everybody was. Wouldn't look at you. We're not welcoming.
Yeah.
So I remember specifically, and Taker and I became friends after this, but I remember at the end of the day, I ran into Taker and he goes, next time introduce yourself.
Yeah.
You know, said to me. And I was a rookie basically. And I was like, all right, no problem. But they were not welcoming at all. And if you look back and think about it, everybody fed into the big plan. The last thing that a business owner wants after pretty much monopolizing the business is to, we should have bonded.
Yeah, of course.
We could have really brought the business to another level if the WWF guys and the WCW guys could have bonded.
Well, that's why that's one thing I hate about this business, Chuck, and I think you'll agree with me on that. We're not. I mean, we were on TV. We had TV time. It's not like we're just coming off the independent scene and we're taking over your job. Yeah. I mean, welcome us in. We're coming over to your company to try to make it better. Work with us.
Yeah, and that was a shame, and it hurt the business because if you remember, the business went into a slump after that.
Oh yeah, horrible slump.
Everybody would have made more money, and the business would have been more successful at that time if they had brought us in, welcomed us in, treated us like part of the team, and worked together with us. It would have been fantastic. Matt, can you imagine if you had two programs? You know, you get these opposing programs, right, that battle for years, and you come in and actually work as a team and do good stuff. So it hurt the business. Obviously, it lowered everybody's pay, right? And yeah, it was just didn't work. Obviously, I mean, I'm not knocking anybody because Vince is a very intelligent man.
But I'll give you credit, Chuck. You were on, like, there's business. A lot of people don't want to see people do good, and that's just the way it is. Yeah. Like me, like I've always was good friends with Jamie Noble. He was my roommate up when I was with, in WWE. Yeah. Because I was there almost 2 years, not doing nothing, just house shows with Eddie Guerrero and Brian Adams and guys like that.
Absolutely.
I love when I see like you on TV. I'm like, man, I'm proud of Chuck, man. I've known this guy for 27 years. Yeah. He's still going at it. He started when I started, he went through the shit I went through the power plant. If if anybody deserves it, Chuck deserves it.
Oh, thank you, man.
And like Jamie Noble, I'm proud of that guy too. Yeah. A lot of people, he's got heat with a lot of people for whatever reason, but he's still there. Give him credit, man. The guy knows how to stay in the business while you get treated like shit.
I don't knock anybody. The business itself, would I want to be a part of it today? Knowing what I know now, I wouldn't. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say about the wrestlers, you will never find a more dedicated, hardworking group of, I know they're not employees, but group of people that will tomorrow work for free for you. Mm-hmm. Most of the wrestlers I know will go work for free if they had to.
Yeah.
Unlike any other business. So the guys who actually make it and get the big money down the line, always happy for them. But a lot of people don't realize, I talk to, because I do a lot of business outside of wrestling and I'm into a lot of different things. And when I talk to people about the business, people who don't know the business, people who are very successful on the outside, and I tell them about the wrestlers and how smart they are and how hard they work and the things they've accomplished and what they have to go through, what it's like being on the road, the travel schedule. They're like, Chuck, if we had guys like that who would be willing to work with us, we take care of those guys.
That'd make a lot of businesses more money.
Oh, because I call them civilians or citizens. The everyday citizen, no benefits. Wait, no guaranteed pay?
Right?
No health insurance? Are you guys crazy? Do you know what I mean? Oh, wait. 8 hours clocking out,
See, that's why, like you and I, we don't need the wrestling business to make money because we're hardworking. We come from a good family with hardworking values.
Yeah. Your dad was a lot of the people probably don't know, your dad was a huge supporter of not only you, but all the guys from the power plant.
Oh, yeah. He come watch us wrestle all the time at good old days. Remember that?
Your dad, Your dad used to give us silver dollars. I still have mine.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody always, that's all they bring up when they talk about my dad is the silver dollars he used to bring the boys.
Your dad was a great human being.
Yeah, I miss that dude.
Yeah, good guy. But yeah, it was our idea to get into the business, right? And there's so many fantastic things about the business.
Oh yeah.
And it's just an incredible, the life skills, the social IQ you build
Oh yeah.
in the wrestling industry is like no other.
Yeah, because there's so many different people there. It's every different personality you could think of.
Yeah, and I don't talk much in wrestling terms. I'm not one of those guys who uses all the working terms, but a lot of workers, right? A lot of workers, a lot of characters. So,
oh yeah,
you had to be able to distinguish. Am I getting worked? This guy, because guys were good. Guys were good. So, but learn so much just about life and how to survive, and actually business. If you think about, McMahon, very intelligent man. His business, his business style, I've patterned with everything else I do, and as far as self promotion and marketing and and stuff like that. So learn so much.
Thanks, Angel. That I don't know. Can you see the questions? There are people chiming in over there, Chuck.
No, I cannot.
Okay, like sometimes I just like acknowledging some people over there. There's people just saying stuff over there. So
yeah.
Angel just said we're killing it. So that's you ever met Angel? He was one of the Baldies in ECW.
I don't think so.
Or Dub Baldy. Good guy. He's a good guy. He's got a show on this podcast network too, the MWA.
Oh,
so.
Nice. Well,
that's how I met him. I've never met him personally. He's friends with
right now.
What's that?
He's watching right now.
Yeah, he's watching now.
Well, pleasure to meet you, man. Thank you for watching.
Hey, let me ask you one question, though, Chuck. What is one? Whether it was the old power plant, which is we were down in that crap hole when we first got there, or the new one up on Log Cabin Drive with the nicer facility. What is one memory that you'd like to share with people that just sticks out in your head? Whether it's funny, whether it's serious, and I got a couple that involve you actually with Paul Orndorff, but I'll let you pick one because we remember Jim Drag used to make fun of you.
I got a lot. Man.
All right, go ahead and give me one. I want to hear it.
One about me? Did I remember?
Well, just anything about whoever in the power plant. It's either funny or it's something that really sticks out in your mind from the power plant.
There's a lot of things, but I do. This is the one's about me. Just gotta remember.
Yeah.
Remember, Paul was promising us TV. I'm going to talk to Jimmy Hart. I'm going to get you guys on TV.
Yeah.
He knew I wrenched on vehicles.
Yeah.
You remember him having me during the power plant hours, having me out in the parking lot doing the brake job on his Toyota Land Cruiser?
Yeah, the Land Cruiser. I was just going to say the Land Cruiser. Oh yeah. And
you remember it was on Jack Stands? I was in my workout clothes. doing a brake job.
The two characters I'm going to bring up, Jindrak and Sanders used to, they'd be like, going to work, and I believe you did go over to Paul's house a few times and work on it, right?
I did. I went over his house. He would buy me barbecue. He would buy me barbecue and a cigar. And I would work on his. And
he'd go, "Here's your cigar, kid. That's a shoot right there."
Yeah, everything he said. We had that inside joke, right? Jindrak. Everybody
at the power plant, yeah.
That's a shoot. Everything's a shoot. And then one other thing I do remember with power plant about Paul, I remember him being paranoid at times, right? Now I'm not knocking Paul because legendary wrestler.
Oh yeah, he was great.
Killer heel, intense. He is who he is.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what some people didn't understand. He's brash and he's sometimes rude, but that's just Paul.
Always good to me. Always good to most of us. At times, we didn't know where he was coming from. But, at the end of the day, pretty solid dude. I remember driving with him in his Land Cruiser, and he was talking about, someone who's, you never know if someone's going to come in and try to shoot me. I had a lot of heat. Up in Boston or at Madison Square Garden. I remember having to leave in the building in a
what's up, Gary?
Leaving the building in a ambulance. We had so much heat. And he goes, you never know. One of these guys that has heat might try to get me. And as he's telling me about this, he comes up to a red light that he almost blows a red light. So he jacks on the brakes of the Land Cruiser, and like a bunch of guns slide out from under the seat. I'm like, oh man, what is going on right now? Honest to God, I say a bunch of guns. It might have been 2 or 3. Yeah. But when you see a couple handguns slide out from under the seats, you're like, all right, what is going on here?
I'm not a doctor, but I would say Paul was diagnosed with bipolar. I would venture to say that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But yeah, and some of the stuff he put us through, but yeah.
Bill Cool said, Chuck, you're awesome.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys. It's funny, and I say this a lot when I meet people. When you have people who are genuinely interested in what you have to say, that's a big deal.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I appreciate that. So when people, are watching this or watching something else I'm doing or see something I'm doing on social media and they're genuinely interested, very fortunate. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, there's a bunch of people over here watching this. So being my first show, I'm kind of happy with the response I'm getting. So that's a good sign.
I see a question coming up now by Brandon about wishing that Jack and I teamed up.
Yeah.
What's funny is Jindrak, you knew this, Jindrak and I actually teamed up on the Independence a bunch of times.
Yeah.
We used to call ourselves the Soul Surfers and had those board shorts, remember?
Yeah, I got hit with them boards.
Did you?
Yeah. Them damn skateboards don't feel good, Chuck.
And we were super stiff back then. We were trying.
Were you? You're just lucky I'm a tough son of a bitch.
Oh, you are tough, man. Yeah, some of the things we went through. You especially with Sonny Siaki.
Yeah, I try to tell people about that, but
you're lucky to be here.
Can you tell my right eye's down?
Yeah, you can tell a little bit.
That's from the accident.
Yeah, I figured as much, but you are. I mean, I know you know this. You're lucky to be here.
Oh yeah, I know. Did you ever talk to Sanders about that?
So he had just told me, because at the time, was I on the road at the time? I don't know.
Yeah, that was 2003, so I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so I was at WWF on the road all the time. I was probably with Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
Really busy. But Sanders had told me that I think Sonny went for a moonsault. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, split leg moonsault on the corner.
Yeah, split leg moonsault, and I heard his knee went directly into your eye socket.
Oh, dude, it wasn't good at all. My eyeball was like popped out of my head. I broke my orbital socket. My nose was actually on this side of my face. I got 6 plates in my face. And I don't know if you know anything about medical, but I broke both my eardrums, blood's pouring out of my ears, Chuck. Had a skull fracture, broke my jaw, my nose.
Oh, was this in Japan?
It was in Helsinki, Finland.
Jesus.
So it was me and Sanders against him and Elix.
Oh, God, I haven't seen Sonny or Elix since back in the day.
You know what I'm going to do one of these shows? I'm going to have all of us original Power Plant guys that were on that show, and we're going to all be on this podcast one night.
That would be phenomenal because all of those guys had faced so much adversity and done so much.
Oh, yeah. Sonny gave his kidneys or whatever to his brother, so that's why he quit wrestling.
Are you kidding me?
No, that's why he quit TNA.
God bless him, man. That's solid. Good. What's funny is, because you're out when you're struggling to try to survive in the business or break into the business. You're working hard and struggling, and you got a group of guys that are doing the same thing. You're a big group of guys there.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. We were all pretty much alike. We all wanted the same thing, and we all worked hard.
Absolutely.
That's why when we wrestled, they had us wrestling each other on a Saturday night show, most of us. And then whenever we always blew the house down. All the guys like, I don't know how we're going to keep up with these guys. You remember that?
Yep. Slow down, kid. No
like, guys in the back like, shit, I can't work with these guys. They're too fast. They got too much, they don't get blown up.
Yep. I will say one thing. We were in shape. We might not have had the psychology down. Obviously, that takes time. But we were in shape.
Yeah, unbelievable shape. People don't understand.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I don't know if people remember Hardbody Harrison. You got a memory of Hardbody Harrison down at the power plant?
I believe. Is he still in jail?
He's in jail, yeah.
I think he went to jail for pimping and pandering or something, right?
Yeah. After he just got $1 million from that lawsuit.
He did get it. He did collect that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I never had a problem with the guy. He was a hustler.
Oh, dude.
But if you had butted heads with him,
he was a little rough. I mean, he was a good boxer too. I mean, the guy knew how to box, and he was a street thug.
Yeah, he was a street thug. I got along fine with him. He was always real cool with us. I do remember on WCW, maybe Saturday night, I think I super kicked him and I knocked one of his or something.
He probably didn't even feel it.
And he was cool with it. I was like, "Oh, Jesus, I'm sorry, dude." He was like, no, his thing was falling out or something like that.
Now, I'll give you one quick hard body story. You remember that when they had some old equipment down at the first place we were at?
Yeah.
You remember they had this little like rowing thing with 2 handles on it? It was a piece of shit. It wasn't worth $5.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that again? What was it? A 2-handled?
It was like a 2-handled little rowing thing you sat on. It didn't do shit for you. It was a piece of junk.
Was that the old power plant?
Yeah, at the old one. It was back in the corner. You probably never even saw it.
It was in the back of the building.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, so hard body. I go out to my truck one day. Remember that old Dodge pickup truck I had, that red one?
Yeah, you had that. It was a smaller truck, right?
It was a Dodge Dakota Sport.
I remember that. I forgot all about that truck, man.
Yeah, it had that little S thing on the side.
I remember.
So he throws that in the back of my truck without asking me, right? So I go out and I'm like, what the fuck is in my truck? And then he comes out, hey, dog, hey, listen, hey, you need to run to something in my house in Kennesaw, dog. And I'm like, hard body, I'm not running up to Kennesaw in traffic. I live right down the road.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, no, dog, you're taking it up there now. And I said, motherfucker, I said, all right, hard body, I'm going to take it to your house right now. I went up to the street to the pawn shop. I never told you this story.
No,
I went to the pawn shop and I said, how much you give it to me? They give me $20 for the fucking piece of shit. So I took it and I had the ticket for it. And I took it. He's like, dude, dog, where's my machine at? Where's my exercise machine? I said, you need to go get it. Here's your ticket. He was mad as a motherfucker, but he never said a word to me because I'm the only one that ever stood up for the son of a bitch.
That's fantastic. He never gave me any static. He was always cool with me, but I do remember when that British broadcasting team came down.
Yeah.
I think and I want to say he might have broke that guy's cheekbone, or
I think he did something. I can't remember, but you're right.
He beat that guy silly, if I remember correctly. That was bad. I remember it was just a rough time, but but there was some characters. There's tons of guys that the names I can't recollect, but it was like there's tons of guys who tried coming through there. Tons. And we saw him coming in the door. We're like, I remember not the exact words, but I remember us guys BSing going, this guy's he's not making. You know what I mean? We knew.
Well, you can't always judge a book by its cover, but I mean, when you seen some of these guys walk in, you just knew.
Yeah.
But my first day there, I don't believe you were in my tryout though, Chuck. I can't remember, but Sanders came in there with like fucking loafers on. He'd already went through the power plant, right? So he
had going through before I did too.
Yeah, he come in there with loafers on, right? During my tryout, my 3-day tryout.
No socks?
Yeah, with like fucking goofy socks on, and he had goofy clothes, and he's like, hey man, I really hope I can make it. What do you think? And I knew he was full of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still young and naive, but I knew this fucker was full of shit.
Yeah.
So he comes over to me, we're leaning up against the rope. I'm trying to stretch my legs out before we start, and he's like, hey man, I don't have a ride. He goes, I don't have anywhere to stay. You think I can stay at your hotel? You got a hotel room? I said, yeah, you can stay with me, no problem, man. I said, I'll take you back to my hotel after we're done. He's like, oh, cool, man. And he had donuts. He's eating a donut, And then as soon as it starts, this motherfucker just jumps up and starts, squad, motherfucker, And I was like, I knew that some bitch was not. I knew he was part of that deal.
He was a character, man.
But that's the kind of stuff you get from Mike Sanders every time you're with him.
Yeah. I mean, he ended up – I know he had some success as a stand-up comedian, didn't he?
Yeah. He actually you never got his he gave me a CD or VHS, I can't remember which. I think it was a CD. And then it was up, and he was doing that for a while, and he had a little bit of success. I'm not really sure why he stopped doing it though.
He's a funny bastard. He's funny. I actually I was I play music. I play guitar. I sat in with this band Virus. We played a show up in Hollywood. I want to say at one of the clubs up there. And
so what you want to tell everybody what you do musically? You play guitar?
Oh, so yeah, I play electric guitar, mostly blues inspired electric guitar. I actually picked up the guitar, I want to say in 2006 after my shoulder surgery. When I was WWF or WWE. I was out for a little while. I want to say on the way home from having my surgery, I stopped at Guitar Center and bought a guitar. And my girlfriend at the time was like, "What are you doing? You don't play guitar." I was like, "Oh, I want to learn how to play guitar." I said, "My shoulder's laid up, I can just, and that's what I did. Anyway, started a band later on. And
well, you did kind of like a tour around the United States. You guys went to
2009. We toured the I-40 all the way to North Carolina. We had done I had built this motorcycle for a charity, Fueled by the Fallen. It was a charity that I was trying to raise money, which we did. It was successful, just for veterans coming back.
Yeah.
My brother Chris, he had got shot up. His helicopter got shot up in Afghanistan. He took over 50 bullets to his aircraft, saved a bunch of men, risked his life, and made it back. And that was a big inspiration, because I was thinking to myself, gosh, I'm over here. I just finished wrestling for the most part. I left WWE, and I was building motorcycles. And I said, man, I should do something to kind of give back to these guys.
So your brother made it through that, though, right?
Yeah, my brother made it through it. Ended up retiring later on. Very successful career as an officer, pilot in the Army. Him and my sister-in-law. Awesome. He was built for it. He's a machine. But I built the motorcycle. We rode it across country. Sold raffle tickets along the way, both online and at these little venues I had set up. From my wrestling contacts and people I knew in the motorcycle industry, I set up like shows. So every night we would do a show in whatever city we were in on the way, and my band would play. They'd do like a bike night, bike show. We'd sell raffle tickets, raise money, and we gave the bike away in Rockingham, North Carolina. It was in a few magazines. The Horse, Backstreet Choppers featured us. This is, I remember that Twitter had just came out when we did that. I didn't really care about any of that stuff. So this is like kind of pre-social media almost. And then so we toured that year, and then next I had so much fun. Gave the bike away. It was a great success. The next year I just said, something, let's just tour the country on our motorcycles and bring the band.
Yeah, that's cool.
The following year we rode on our motorcycles. The band followed, brought all the equipment. We did a bunch of shows.
Well, you were in Atlanta too at the Dixie Tavern, right?
I'm sorry. Yeah,
the Dixie Tavern.
Yeah.
See, I think Sanders went to that show, right?
Did he? I know Scotty Steiner went. He's the one that actually got me that contact.
Okay.
That show, and Scotty's a real good friend of mine. Matter of fact, I don't want to get off topic.
Hey, John, what's up? No, you're good.
But my lead singer, he met a girl in Atlanta on the way across country, right?
Stories of the road.
On the way back, he quits the band and stays in Atlanta.
Because he's with the girl.
He finished his obligations with us. No big deal.
Yeah.
Fell in love with this girl. Still in Atlanta to this day. Happy as can be.
Well, that's cool, man. You never know.
Good for him. But toured the country a couple times with the band. Nothing serious. We call it Three Spoke Wheel. We played mostly rock and roll covers. I'm a big fan of like late 60s, 70s, early 80s stuff. And obviously like the blues, electric blues. Mostly a cover band. Had a lot of fun doing that. A handful of us still play together, but at the time, right now, we don't have a lead singer, but we still jam and all that stuff. So.
Thanks, Brandon. Brandon Black, he's chiming in again. I appreciate that, Brandon.
Yeah.
But it was up there a second ago. He just said I had the best setup for video podcast, having the questions show up on the screen, and he will definitely be supporting.
Super pro, bro. I'm really I'm impressed, man.
But you know what I told everybody, Chuck, when I started this podcast, I keep telling everybody that I see all the time that I'm going to eventually have Joe Rogan on the podcast, and they laugh at me. I'm like, all right, well, we'll see.
Well, we'll see.
Because I got a few connect. I mean, I know Chuck Palumbo. I could probably make this happen.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if he's eventually on this show.
Oh, he'll be on the show one day if I keep it going.
Yeah.
So,
But
all right, so I know you got some stuff going on. It's called Chuck of All Trades. You want to talk about that?
Yes. So I had done a show on Discovery for a few years featuring my shop and some of the builds I do with the motorcycles and cars. Some of the fans know about that.
That was Lord of the Car Hoarders or whatever it was called.
Yeah, Lords of the Car Hordes, and then we did another season called Rusted Development. I had a lot of fun, very successful.
A lot of people like them shows, man. I talk to people all the time that said they watched it.
Yeah, it was. We were doing good viewership. It was good.
Hey, somebody just said, John says, Chuck, you make some badass bikes.
Oh, thank you, John. I appreciate that, man. It's a passion. I love working with my hands.
Yeah, one day, Chuck, I'm gonna have you build me one. It's gonna happen.
All right, man. I'll give you a special discount.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You're talking about the car horse.
2 years, and then they had an international version. A lot of people don't know about that. And I think now you can watch it on Amazon Prime. And
my Preston, my producer, just put your YouTube channel up there.
Oh, thank you, Preston. So now I had a little side project. I didn't want to do like a show, like an entertainment show per se, or like where we were doing any dramatization, anything like that. We wanted to just be us. So came up with this concept, Chuck of all trades, because I kind of have my hands in everything. And I just wanted people to see what I've been doing, right? So that's what we started doing. It's very raw. It's very rough. We just, we go out there with our cameras and we film what we do.
Yeah, man. I subscribe to the channel. I actually watched a few episodes. I'm trying to watch more. I seen you. I like when you're driving in, I guess, your pickup. You got the flag or something above you.
That's one of my old. I collect those old Fords.
Yeah. So I seen the one the other day. You were talking about crown molding or something.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So I've been. I dabble with real estate. So this property I bought a few years ago, and it was a house built in 1924, and here in San Diego, and I gutted the house completely. When I say gutted, I brought it down to the sticks, and everything new, from plumbing to electrical. The house, obviously built in 1924, didn't have heat, had a fireplace, didn't have AC, did that. Completely restored the house. And then I wanted to build another shop on the property where we will film our new show with cars and motorcycles out of that shop. So I just finished building a 30 by 50 steel building on the property.
So you're living in that house now that you fixed up?
No, but eventually part-time.
I got you. That's cool.
So,
and that's what people can see on your show, you doing stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool because I just like to show people that, believe it or not, they could probably do a lot of the stuff that I do, you know, but maybe they didn't have it. I knew people. I had uncles and a dad who were in the trade. So I learned at a young age, how to use tools and carpentry. And I know a little bit of plumbing. I know a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So I know enough to get by in a lot of the trades. So I'm able to do a lot of that stuff myself, especially when it comes to like real estate. If you buy a house and it's a fixer and it needs some work, that's where I can capitalize because I don't have to go out and pay someone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or if I'm going to pay someone, it's usually a friend who I know that's in the business. So, so that's what I've been showing, Chuck of all trades on YouTube. I'm having fun with that for now. I got a ton of things I want to do, but time, right?
That's good. So Annette just said she subscribed to your YouTube page.
Oh, thank you very much. This is funny. This is the first time I've done anything really with the media in a long time.
So you haven't done other podcasts before?
I just did a video interview with Lucha Online last week, and great guys over there. A guy by the name of Michael, great guy. I want to be doing a media tour with him, obviously online, in a couple weeks. So I'll put that on my Instagram. I'm not a big social media guy. I only have Instagram, but I usually use that to show my projects and what I'm working on.
Yeah.
But this is cool because this is like I have a chance to kind of talk about it and hopefully get some people to go over and just.
So are you still building bikes for people then, or?
Yeah. So bikes, cars, vintage 4-wheel drive trucks.
So how can they get a hold of you if someone has a project?
Easiest way to get a hold of me is DM me on Instagram.
Okay.
Or on the YouTube channel.
And they can just look up Chuck Palumbo on Instagram, right?
Yep. And that's it. That's simple. And I look at all that stuff. And I try to respond to people that I think are serious about things. And I appreciate all the good comments, we get and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So yeah.
And I know I seen I know it's been a couple of years, but I think Charlie was on there doing some grinding or something with you one day.
Charlie was on the TV. I was on the Discovery show when I was doing the Corvette.
Oh, was she?
She was on that when she was younger, and then she's been on. She hasn't been on the YouTube show yet, but she's been on my Instagram for other things. Like I remember one time she was like, "Dad, I want to build some furniture." She's like, "I saw this thing where these guys use like plumbing pipe," and I was like, "Oh, baby, there's no problem to do that." I was like, "Let me show you." I said, "I'll do it with you, but I want you to at least work on it with me, so
Yeah, so she can learn,
get some of those skills." And she's a crafty kid now. So.
Oh yeah, well, that's cool. Well, Preston just shared your my producer Preston, because I'm high tech around here, Chuck. He just shared your Instagram, so
thank you, because
So hopefully we're going to get you some more followers and subscribers for you.
Thank you very much. I'm very low tech, man.
Well, you logged into this thing pretty good.
Well, I'm actually, so today, I had some other obligations today. I couldn't make it back to my house today.
Yeah.
So I'm actually at my best friend's house.
Oh, okay. So he's letting you use everything, huh?
Yeah, this is FUD. This is his plumbing company.
What is that? What company?
FUD and Son Plumbing. San Diego. You need a plumber in San Diego? He's the best. Anyway.
And Chuck might even show up to help him out.
Absolutely. I just might. That's no kidding. We've worked together many a time. Yeah, so his house is on the way to my house.
I get you.
I called him up on the way over and said, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" I said, I said, "I'm doing a podcast and I got to be there in 20 minutes.
Hey, man, I'm on the hottest new podcast in the business, brother. I can't miss it.
Hey, I told everybody, good buddy of mine is doing his podcast. He's just getting started. I said, I'm stoked, so I'm not missing it. So anyway, his oldest daughter, who his kids are like my kids, great kids, Sierra, she's working on her real estate license. She was studying, she graduated from UC Santa Barbara. So she was in the kitchen and she gave me her Mac. I'm actually in their kitchen using her Mac. She hooked me up. To make a long story short, she helped me. I logged into my email and then she took it from there.
Well, that's a good buddy right there and a good kid.
Yeah. So
anything else you want to talk about, Chuck? You want to tell some more power plant stories?
I just I hope people, I hope they do. I know that is it A&E who's doing the shows with the wrestlers now, the documentaries.
Yeah.
I hope they get into some of the nitty gritty of the WCW, especially where the buyout was. So maybe, where the buyout was, and then in that relationship between WCW and WWF and how that whole process went about. It's so dynamic. I would hope at some point, it's going to be hard to do. You're going to have to take some. But I think some of the most interesting times in the business were those times. You'll never see that again.
No, never.
Never see a company that dominated another company for so long. And then after that, kind of we're neck and neck for so long. One, kind of take the other one over and then just
that'd be like Chevy buying out Ford, you know what I mean?
And people don't realize like that whole buyout, that runs deep because people don't realize people lost jobs. Right?
Oh yeah. A lot of people suffer from that.
Families lost jobs, people lost homes. People had to relocate. People had to reinvent themselves. And I'm not talking about reinvent themselves in the business, but also reinvent themselves outside of the business. Some guys no longer wrestled again.
Yeah.
They had to learn how to do something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Take time in life. So people don't realize that, how deep it runs. And then, the Johnny Ace stories about him coming in and the crap that went on when he first came over and
not
knowing who you can trust and who is he working for Vince or is he working for WCW? You know what I mean? So there was some.
Yeah, there was a lot of that at that time. A lot of uncertainty.
Oh, if people only knew the ins and outs of the business at that time, it was crazy. But I remember, going back to those times, I think that the fans may find this interesting. Do you remember that Johnny Ace decided that he was going to have a fingerprint machine.
Oh yeah. That was towards the end of the WCW days here.
Remember, because he wanted guys to be there at a certain time.
Yeah.
And he had a fingerprint machine. You had to go in there and put your finger on a machine, get your print, so you didn't get a fine.
Yeah.
I remember Kevin Nash almost whipping his ass one day.
Yeah, I remember that. That was more than one day.
Yeah, a couple times. Everyone's like, what is going on here? There's so many good stories within that time frame. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh man, and there was some incredible stories around that time. But you know, that, like you said, that I never really thought about that, but that'd be awesome. You know, even having guys that, like, look at like me, Sanders. I know you didn't go through this, but me, Sanders, Lash LaRue, Jamie Noble, Shannon Moore, Sanders. That's where we all went up to Cincinnati with Les Thatcher.
Ohio Valley.
Ohio Valley was in Louisville. Yep. We went to Cincinnati. Then they had like Umaga, Lance Cade, which he passed away. You probably knew Lance. Then they had all the Memphis guys come over there, and we were in Cincinnati together. Then basically what they did to all the WCW guys, which were most of the power plant guys, we'd go down and do a Sunday night TV show with like John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista. All these guys are down in Louisville. So we were actually wrestling matches with these guys, getting them ready for TV. As soon as these guys get ready for TV, that we go to a couple shows. WWE, we're at a couple other shows like the Raw and stuff. So we're backstage and we're with all these other guys. So we're all trying to get dark matches because we all want dark matches. You know how I am. I want to be. I want to be on. I want to wrestle, man. That's what I'm here for.
On work.
You know, I mean, I didn't train and get killed every freaking day to go to the show and tell them, you know, well, you're not doing anything tonight. I used to get so mad with that. And so they'd let all these guys like John Cena, Brock Lesnar, and all these guys that are down OVW get all these dark matches. And we're all sitting in the back, you know, with our fingers up our ass, not doing nothing. And then 2 weeks before Christmas, they released all of us. Me, Alex Skipper, Romeo, you know, everybody. They just released us all 2 weeks before Christmas. That's a hell of a, you know, Christmas bonus, right?
The wrestling business, right? Business.
So, but a lot of guys, like I said, they suffered.
I know. Oh, absolutely. I know a question came up about if we knew Jim Draken here.
Yeah, but they said, were both you guys friends with Jim Draken?
Yeah, absolutely. We both hung out with those guys all the time. Sean O'Hare came in later, but we were all friends.
Oh, dude, yeah. Mark almost moved in an apartment with me and my ex-wife when we first moved down here, but my landlord wouldn't let him move in.
Yeah, we were a tight knit group.
Oh yeah, you remember the first road trip we ever did together, Chuck? You remember that? I'll give you a hint. Hardbody was on it.
Okay. Do we wrestle? We wrestle in an armory?
No. I'm like the first WCW like house shot.
Is that the one we did in Rome, Georgia?
No. Remember we went down to Pensacola.
We did?
Yeah. You don't remember that?
No.
And then you and I and Hardbody went to that steakhouse and ate a steak, that whatever steakhouse they got down there in Pensacola that everybody goes to. And remember Hardbody was at the hotel trying to work the gimmick with the lady in there, hitting on her, like almost dead near raping the lady, and we had to calm him down. You don't remember none of that?
No, you know what's funny, man, is I don't remember a lot of the wrestling days. I don't know why. I think because at the times we struggled so much.
Yeah.
So consciously, I blocked a lot of it, but I remember doing Rome, Georgia early on. I don't remember Pensacola. Tell me more about it.
Yeah, well, Rome, Georgia, we did the Saturday night taping there.
Yeah.
What
did we do?
I think you wrestled Hardbody, if I'm not mistaken, because I wrestled Romeo. It was me, Romeo, you, and Hardbody, and I don't think anybody else was with us. We went to Pensacola, then we went to was it Columbus, Georgia? It was a small, like any Sing Clown Posse was down there. They were all house shows. Like Bam Bam Bigelow. Actually, Hogan was down there in Georgia.
Wasn't Hogan down in Pensacola too?
You know what? He might have been, but I never saw him. But the first time I actually met him was down there. The second shot we did in Georgia.
I remember doing Cincinnati a lot. Crazy time. Fun. I tell you what, though, do we not have fun?
Oh, and I don't. There's a place in Pensacola. It was a big bar. It had like outside, inside, upstairs. It had a bunch of 4 or 5 different bars, and we were even I was drinking beer that night. You don't remember that?
No.
I do remember one thing you said though, Chuck. You're like, drink some more beer, man. It'll dehydrate you. Your abs will come out better.
Remember how into it we were back then?
Dude, I remember one time. You remember when I broke my ankle against when Reese broke my ankle down at the power plant, and then I had to wrestle Kasahashi.
Yes.
I remember before the match, you're like, "Here, eat a piece of licorice, man. It'll bring out the sugar will bring out your veins and stuff."
Yeah. we were so into it. I remember. So this is before I got my training contract. Before any of us got them. I remember, starving all the time. So I remember when we first started trying to, we figured, hey, if we're going to do this, let's look our best. Right? So we all started dieting, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And then I remember I bought a George Foreman, the little small George Foreman grill.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
At the rice cooker. And I would go to Kroger or wherever it was. I get ground turkey, cheapest I could find.
Oh, yeah.
Rice, remember? And we would do 5 times a day, right?
Yeah. That's when we all started doing that. Except, well, Sonny did, but I think Sonny drank more protein shakes than anybody did in the day.
Yeah. I remember him doing protein shakes and then just buying like luncheon meat at the store. Just turkey by itself.
Now, do you remember any of the going up to Nashville when we were doing them shots like on Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yeah. I do. That was you, me, Sanders.
Oh, it was everybody from the power play.
Oh, we used to hang out in that town outside of Nashville.
Yeah, right north of it. Carter or
oh gosh, it was
Clarksville. There was a Gold's Gym there, and there was a bar there.
Wasn't it close to a military base or something?
Well, Hopkinsville was Kentucky. We did on Friday night.
I'm thinking Hopkinsville because we used to go to that bar.
Yeah. And that was a hick town up there, man.
We used to train. I tell you, the one thing that we always did, a lot of people don't know, is we all stuck together. We all ate together.
Yeah, we all trained together.
We all trained together, and we all worked out together.
Yeah.
It was we were a clique for sure, man.
You never know how fun those times are until you look back on it.
Oh, I know. And what's funny is at the time we weren't, just breaking into business. We didn't have much at the time.
Yeah, none of us did.
We didn't care. We were like, we're wrestlers. We're out on the road.
We all knew we were all going to be millionaires too.
Yep.
Yep. But that's what kept us going.
That's
no matter how bad we got treated, it didn't bother us.
No. And that's the thing I always tell other people I know in business, corporate business, other people I know who are very successful business owners. I say, gosh, if you had wrestlers working for you,
yeah,
you'd be blessed because those guys, all the wrestlers, they're willing to travel, they're willing to sleep anywhere, eat whatever. They'll find a place to train.
Yeah.
They'll find a place to train. They'll get a rental car. They'll drive 300 miles. They'll find a hotel. They'll get up, find the arena. And remember, originally we were doing all this long before the internet. So remember, we did it on maps. Remember, we get maps.
Damn it!
I think I lost you for a second.
You're breaking up there, Chucky. I don't know if I'm breaking up. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, but your videos. There you go.
Everything. I didn't hear a damn word you said, Chuck. I'm sorry.
So, no, I was just saying, wrestlers they're willing to, they'll find a gym, right?
Oh yeah.
They may have never been to the town. They'll find a gym. They'll find a place to eat clean. They'll find a place to go tan. Yeah. They'll find a hotel, and they'll get themselves to the arena. And then they'll right 300 miles that night.
Some of them will find some rats.
But yeah, amazing. Just all the wrestlers in general, amazing guys.
All right, you see Clyde Lawrence there. He said, "Allan, Chuck, thank you for the great matches in WCW. My childhood was good. I do miss WCW."
Clyde, thank you so much. It's funny because we, as actual technicians, we didn't know a lot really about wrestling back then. We were really learning it. So to be able to be on TV and learn on TV was pretty cool.
But we worked like we knew what we were doing, right?
Exactly. But we didn't know, right?
That's right.
We thought we knew a little bit, but then I remember years later in WWE, it was like, oh man, this finally is easy.
So tell us how from working with some of the guys in WCW, how did it differ? Like when you did a program with the Undertaker, how was that different from working with some of the top guys in WCW, or was there a difference?
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously the WWF guys, Taker, we had some good matches, and we had a good working relationship. But the WCW top guys were more generous, at least the ones we worked with.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash's, the Scott Steiners, even Page when he wasn't, he was pretty good. Yeah, Page when he wasn't talking about himself. Good guy, very good guy. Even Lex Luger, who he was hard to get along with. Nobody could get along with him, except the group around him. But he worked with, I remember him working with me, and him and Liz.
Well, yeah, I remember that we used to talk about that when you were first started doing that, and we hadn't really done. The rest of us hadn't really done much. Yeah. We're like, man, I can't believe Luger's letting him do all that.
I know. So even Bagwell. And then you get to WWF, and then they're very protective and only let you do so much with him, right?
And that's why Bagwell didn't last up there, because
and he honestly, don't get me wrong, the guy is a wild guy, right?
But Bagwell,
but at the end of the day, when he first came up there, he would have been fine. You know what I mean? People stare shit up, and he got buried, and he would have been fine up there. He was making great money, and he was a solid star in WCW, right? People love him.
Yeah, he was.
No reason why he couldn't have did it up there. Let's forget about personal reasons.
Yeah.
As far as him being marketable and making money for them, he would have been fine. But the games that are played, and unfortunately he got hooked right into that trap, and he was gone. But
hey Chuck, listen, my producer just said we're past the hour mark. So you want to talk a little bit more, or you want to cut this off?
I got a couple of minutes, but I didn't. Geez, that went by fast. We hardly covered.
Dude, an hour goes by so fast, it's ridiculous. I have to have it. Like I said, listen, I'm going to have all of us from the power plant on here one night. I got to try to coordinate this, and maybe you can help me coordinate it. Yeah,
absolutely. That would be fantastic. Yeah, I'll we'll catch up on the next one.
So I hate to cut everybody off, but listen, everybody that tuned in tonight, man, Chuck, thank you so much for coming on here for my first show. I'm excited this podcast is starting, and I'm extra excited you were on here, because I actually do love you, Chuck. You're one of my brothers, man. I've known you for a long time, and I really appreciate you coming on here. But I want to thank everybody that's listening, and please pass the word on. Get Funk Podcast. It's not just your average wrestling podcast. Please join me. And we're going to dip out of here, Chuck, but don't go anywhere yet. I want to say bye to you.
Okay, man.
All right, Chuck. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.